and he started dangling on the end of it, and it's like teetering, and all of a sudden he just flips, pow, and hit the ground. And we were rolling, man. We were rolling. We wouldn't have laughed at him, but he was so annoying, you know. He
got what he deserved.
He got what he deserved at that point.
Who were some of the guys that amused you? I mean, that was an era where there were a lot of fun guys to be around. You played with George Hendrick. He was a priceless character. But what about some of the other guys?
George Keith Hernandez, he was another one. He was one of the best, by far best first baseman I ever played with. But not to mention his clutch hitting. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like to me like a Carpenter. You know, when he's on, he hits everybody. You know, so you could put Carpenter up against a tough left-hander in a situation when he's, you know, at his best, and he can get that hit, you know, and Keith was like that. Opposite teams, Pedro Guerrero was kind of fun, you know. Yeah, just watching his character, you know, and getting laughing at him and some of the stuff he does on and off the field, you know. It's just just hilarious.
About somebody funny we talked about before. How about Ricketts? I mean, I got to play with him, okay?
That's a good point.
Yeah, he was serious as a coach, but as a player.
I tell you what, man, I
keep everybody loose now. I tell you that.
Well, even as a coach, man, you know, he's the last of that breed. You know, where I mean, I felt like Ricketts was a dad. He was a coach. He was a mentor. He was a father figure. He was a brother. I mean, you know, he had it. He had that type of aura about him, and that's the type of that's what I want to bring to the game. Mm-hmm. You know, I want guys to trust me. So when I come in here, I want to get their trust first. I'm not going to do this, do that, because they ain't going to listen to you anyway. So you let them come to you, you know, and the guys start to come to you and they talk to you, and now they start to open up and they talk to you about things they can't talk to other because they trust you. And that's when you know now I can start asking them to do this, do that.
Do you have any players that ask you, did you play? No. You know, you're at that age now where some of these guys may not know who you were.
It's crazy, man. And one way or another, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah. But I look up there, we were in Cincinnati, I'm looking on the board, and these guys are born in 88, 85. No, and it's starting to hit me now. Because you assume that players
Hey, well, don't tell me about that. But when are you born?
Huh? 58.
Hey, I was born in 39, man. What are you talking about?
So it's the same thing. That's true, though.
I don't even look at these ages now, 80s and 90s. I don't even care.
That's true. I came in and I see you guys, you know, and I see the highlight. Oh, dang, he can play. You know, he's a good player. You know, so now I understand that's what they're seeing. All they know is the highlights. They don't know who, and then they don't care.
Right.
They're like,
I could have done that.
Yeah, they don't care. You know, who? I don't know, man. You can't play now.
In our business now, you know, you ask you guys, say, you have a tape? They have a cassette? They say, what's a tape? What's a cassette? They don't know. That's serious. You know, ask one of these guys in the dugout down there tomorrow, when's the last time they saw a payphone? Or, hey, a mailbox. Ask them
what about the first cell phones that came out, the Radio Shack phones that you needed a suitcase to carry? You know,
you throw your shoulder out of place, carry that thing around.
But it's a different society. It's a different world.
No, it is.
But hey, there was one guy we had here. I can't remember his name or anything. And they said, "We'll go." Stan Musial said, "Who's Stan Musial?" He was a player too.
It's scary, man. It is scary.
What about equipment? What about the equipment that you see today? And I'll start with the bats.
Oh, that's a good starting point because we were talking about that last week around the batting cages. And these balls come off these bats so hard and so fast now. And if you look at the bats, you know, back when I was coming up, we had, I guess, ash. And after you finish hitting BP, you see the seam marks. I mean, the deep seam mark, full seam mark in the bat.
On the bat, yeah.
Yeah. Now, on these bats, you don't have a mark on them. I mean, this coating in the wood is so hard.
Formica.
You don't have no seam marks. You have a scuff mark or something if you don't hit it square, but you have no seam mark. And these bats don't splinter. BP, you use an ash bat, and after a couple rounds of few days of BP,
they don't have.
So you never use.
You don't see a bone anymore down in the clubhouse.
BP.
No, that's one thing. You have so many bats, Buddy Bates, God bless him. He would, you'd have 2 or 3 dozen bats laying in there. And you know what we used to do? We take the bats and we would roll them on the ground, and you could tell if it was straight. That's how we would test them. You could tell if it was, and some of them would actually
like the pool cue.
Yeah, the same exact way.
But remember that maybe
some
you
of
don't
them
even
worked.
remember that they used to have we used to have a bone, and it was you would you'd bone the bat, okay, to keep it from splintering on you. The seams would come apart on that.
Well, I would take a hammer to it. Don't tell nobody. I'd take a hammer to it, put a towel over it, and kind of.
Everybody had their little tricks of the trade back then. What about the gloves?
Hey, some of them would put some cork in it, too.
Yeah. They cork it, or they take a bottle opener and
Who was
groove
that
it.
guy? We had a guy here. He had those Super Balls. Remember them Super Balls?
Well,
He
Howard
broke the bat,
Johnson.
the Super
Remember
Ball
Howard
bouncing all
Johnson?
over the place. And that guy couldn't hit home runs. He was a pig
Well,
hitter.
no, they had. Remember Howard
Who was that
Johnson?
guy?
Remember when they took his bat?
Guerrero's brother. I know little Guerrero brother with Montreal. He
That's exactly
he
it.
broke a
you're
bat
right.
and it fell out, and he ran off like that.
Like a 210 hitter.
Little rubber balls fall out of the Super Balls,
But you
and
remember-
he couldn't hit a ball. He couldn't hit a golf ball out of the ballpark. For
Remember when
practice.
Howard Johnson, when they got his bat and they X-rayed it? And Whitey, and that's the one thing, Whitey didn't miss a trick
I tell
about
you what,
anything.
he hit a ball here one day. He hit it to right center. I know Strawberry hit one off
Off
that
the
bird,
clock, yeah.
And by the time you turn around, the ball hit the bleachers, bounced back on the field. That was one of the most impressive home runs. But then Howard hit one, and you couldn't hear a sound. It was just like boom, And
It's
next thing you
400
know, it's
feet
just
later,
flying.
yeah.
Man. I'm not saying he used anything at that point, but.
You don't have to. We already found out that he did. So you're not letting that cat out of the bag.
That's Willie McGee talking with Mike Claiborne, Mike Shannon, part of a Live at Shannon's from 2018. We've got one more segment of that coming up in just a moment. We are in a rain delay being presented by Safe Light Auto Glass. Trust Safe Light Auto Glass. Go online to safelight.com to schedule service. So I've long gone out of the will they play prediction business, but the one bit of positivity I would tell you, it looks like the rain is starting to lighten up just a bit. There's a few more folks that are making their way down into the seating bowl. And looking at the forecast model that I look at on my phone, which tends to be okay, it looks like the rain really will start to die down at about 4 o'clock or so, between 3:40 and 4. There's still going to be a little bit of it, but then it looks like around 4:30 or a little bit after, we should be clear for a while. So I don't know how long they are willing to wait. The game was scheduled to get started. Actually, technically, we are not even at the time yet for the scheduled first pitch, but obviously there's all the pregame festivities that were going to be going on for a while. The Clydesdales did make their appearance. They went around the track as they were scheduled to do so, but they have everything else that is still scheduled to do. But yeah, that's... We'll see. I would think that there is a possibility, just based off what I'm looking at right now, that this rain could get out of here and we could have some baseball this afternoon into this evening here at Busch Stadium. We'll continue on, though, with the conversation with Willie McGee. That's coming up in just a moment as we roll on with this rain delay on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
Looking for an event space that will leave your guests talking? Cardinals Special Events offers all sorts of unique venue options in the St. Louis Cardinals' iconic Busch Stadium, as well as in Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village. From corporate celebrations to personal milestones and everything in between, Cardinals Special Events can help your group make memories that will last a lifetime. Visit cardinals.com/events to learn more.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. And with our easy-to-use app, you can check in from anywhere and get a ready next text when you're up next for a cut. It's the confidence of a great haircut delivered by a team you trust. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Join us for a fantastical journey at St. Louis Union Station. Board the St. Louis Wheel, soaring 200 feet into the air all year round. The St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station lets you explore the world's great waterways and over 10,000 amazing creatures. Swing from the ropes course high over the aquarium and get lost in our mirror maze. It's all here at St. Louis Union Station, where the journey is like no other. Create your new memories at stlouisunionstation.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Back at it as we are in a rain delay at Busch Stadium, hoping to get opening day festivities underway. Cardinals Twins trying to open up the 2025 season. Rain delay is presented by Safelite Auto Glass. Trust Safelite Auto Glass. Go online to safelite.com to schedule service. Let's continue with the conversation that Willie McGee had in 2018 during a Live at Shannon's.
I always get a kick out of the story you tell about your first spring training with Lou Brock. When he came out with the tape measure. So this is your first spring training with the Cardinals, and here we have Lou Brock, the Hall of Famer. He's a base running instructor. So walk us through it.
I've never said this publicly, Mike. You put me in a position. Lou, I love you, man.
Before we get
You're the best
started,
I ever seen. Yeah.
You know, he was here at the ballpark tonight.
Yeah, I love you, Lou. So we're in spring training, and we're used to just getting over there. And I figured at that time, me and Vinny and them, if we just get a jump, that's all I'm worried about, is just getting a jump. Then he has to throw us out. So why he brings Lou in, and Lou comes, but this is why Lou was so great. Lou had it down to a science. So we out there at first base. And Lou's got a tape measure, a carpenter's tape measure. And he's out there.
With you and Vince, right?
Yeah, Vince, Ozzy, all of and he's measuring this step off, this distance, and that distance. And he starts talking, and this man knew how long and how many steps it took him to get to this point where he had marked off. He knew how to get to that point and how long it would take him and how many steps. And he knew how many steps it took him to get from first, his lead, to second base. So he lost me when he put the tape out there. And he lost.
He's a mathematics major in college.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, and God bless his soul, because it worked amazingly for him. But
pretty good, right?
My mind, I can't to this day. I can't do all that numbers, and I can do so many of them, and they start like tumbling.
Musial was talking about hitting one day, and he says, I have this cone out in front of home plate, and he said, about 10 feet out in front of home plate. When it gets here, then I decide what I'm going to do with it. I look out there, I said, I don't see any cone out there. But those guys, guys like Brock and Musial,
man.
They slowed everything down,
And that helped them with, their mind. I mean, that's a testament to their mind and their patience, to be able to do that and take it to a science level. And that's what made them so successful and so confident at doing it, And then you take, like you just said, then I talked to Willie Randolph when I was with the Yankees in the minor leagues, because he had a good eye, and I was trying to learn the strike zone. And he said he has a tunnel that he watches. And so I'm trying to,
You're looking for that tunnel. You couldn't see it.
I'm still looking for it. I just couldn't find that tunnel, man.
I'm looking for Musial's little cone. I've never found it yet,
Every ball was in the tunnel. It's like, what are you looking at? So I figured, hey, I can't do it. So my philosophy, like one day we were in spring training, and Tony La Russa had everybody. He had us in a group, and they were brainstorming. Vince was there base stealing. And so Vince didn't give him everything because he got released the next couple of days. So Vince was smart enough not to give him everything. So
He still hadn't given it all.
No.
Oh, he keeps it.
He give it to you for a price.
Yeah, right,
exactly.
Yeah.
He-
It's got a dollar sign up
Yeah.
to it.
So we in there, and so Tony asked guys about two-strike hitting. So he's asking such and such. He's asking this man. He's asking that man. And Jose knows the story. So he gets to me, and I was hoping he didn't ask me because I'm gonna tell the truth. So he said, "Willie, what was your two-strike approach?" So I stood up. I say, "My approach, two strikes. Don't let them get to two strikes."
Good for you.
That's my approach. So when they have meetings here or in the minor leagues, I don't talk. No, I be wanting to say it so
That's a
bad.
good answer, though, isn't it? What two strikes? I don't ever get that.
If I don't let them get to two strikes, I ain't got to worry about two strikes.
That's like I asked Tony Gwynn one time. I said, "You see the ball better in the daytime than you do at night?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, I could see the spin on the ball better in the daytime." He said, I don't see the spin on the ball." I said, "You don't see the spin on the ball?" I said, "What did he hit?" He said, "I just hit something white." I said, "No wonder I couldn't hit." That was simple for a guy with him.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I always had problems jumping out. I did everything. They put an anchor on me and whatever. So one day Red said, "Well, just get your hands up here in front where you can see them, in the time." And I said, "Why didn't you tell me that 6 years ago?" I said, "You've been holding that on." I said, Torrey was the same way. He hit Drysdale. I couldn't hit Drysdale if he told me what was coming, right? And so I said, "How do you hit Drysdale?" This is after I'd finished playing. He said, "I just look at his right knee, and that's where you would see. That's where. I said, "Nice going. You could have told me that 5 years ago."
Willie, for you, I always thought you and Whitey Herzog were the perfect match at the right time. He gave you everything you needed to continue to be a better player, and I thought maybe it was because he was honest. You play for him every day.
Well, what really made Whitey such a great player, and I agree with you, it was a blessing in disguise for me to come there. We got to spring training that year, and I never forget it. Now I had played 4 years in the minor leagues and had got better every year, and had hit 320 something in Double-A. So I get to spring training, and you have people that look at the way you stand and the way you approach hitting. And, "Oh, you can't hit like that." So right before I got ready to get into the cage for my first session of batting practice, this guy grabbed me, a coach. "You can't do that. I taught such and such to hit. I want you to get in there. I want you to chop down on this ball." And here comes Ricketts. Ricketts came over there running, and Ricketts said, I ain't going to say what he said, but get away from this kid. You don't know this kid. Leave this kid alone. I mean, like that. And I was like, whoa. And so now I can get in there and relax and just hit. Whereas if this guy is there and he tells me that, now I get in the cage and I'm thinking, while I'm in this cage, I'm thinking about, man, if I don't do what he says, he's going to consider me uncoachable. But yet I've been doing this. I've been waiting for this day for 20 years, plus 4 years of grinding in the minor leagues, working in the off season. And I got to do what this guy says, so my mind is already screwed up. But when Ricketts came in there and did that, that was it. And then Whitey took it to the next level. Whitey said, "Leave him alone." And then I remember one time, Whitey had me leading off. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking I got to take pitches, And then I start slowing down, and I start taking third strikes right down the middle. So he calls me in the office, and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to be a leadoff hitter." He said, "No. I don't care where you hit, first, second, third, or fourth, you be Willie." I was like, wow. So now I can go out there and I can play uninhibited. He accepted my faults and he accepted, the good things about your game.
Yes, yes.
And that made it so easy to go out there and play. It felt like Little League with that guy. And he's one of the only managers, he's the only manager that made it feel like that, where you can just go out there and play your game.
Confidence. Gave you confidence. He said, you go do what you do, okay?
Yes.
It's like when Brock came to the Cardinals, Johnny Keane was the manager, and he said, "I want you to run anytime you want to run." He said, "Really?" Yeah, he said, "Just if you want to run, steal." And that's when Lou started running. People don't realize about Brock. He could have hit 20 or 30 home runs a year, but he knew that if he got on base and hit base hit, and he got 3,000 base hits, okay? 3,000 hits he had. And he could have hit, I mean, he hit one of the longest balls I've ever seen hit in Wrigley Field when he was with the Cubs. And then he got traded here. But said he realized, said, look, your bread and butter, you can get 20 or 30 home runs if you want to. But he said, your bread and butter is going to be just getting base hits and stealing bases. And he took it right into Cooperstown, I'll tell you that.
It seemed like, even in your era, it seemed like the managers you guys had and the coaches that you can just go out there and play. And it's just playing baseball. You just go out there, and with Whitey, it just felt like Little League.
Well, we didn't have
sense.
all the information that you have today, you know, with the, you know, I can remember being in the minor leagues and going out, you know, you'd go out, you'd work out in the morning and then you'd play the game at night. And we had the 8mm film that we would take of ourselves taking batting practice, okay? Now with all the video and things, the great advantage you have, you know, they say, one picture's worth 1,000 words. It's worth a couple of thousand. If you're a baseball player, maybe worth 10,000.
You almost know what a pitcher's going to throw in every situation.
Well,
every count.
when I watch from up here, I think everybody's just about a guess hitter nowadays because they can't throw at you. I mean, or they don't throw at you. Let's put it
They
that
don't
way.
know how to throw at you.
Well, let's just say they're not throwing at you, okay, like they used to be, okay? So consequently, and you have, you know, you have the statistics down there. They say, look at here, this guy, if he gets you 2-0, he's going to throw you this pitch, or he's going to throw you that pitch. And so you go up there guessing.
Well, the percentage says it's listed. It's listed 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 0, 2. You know,
What are you going to throw?
Yeah, the percentage is a 60% chance he throw this. Yeah, 70% chance.
So if I get him 2-0, and he says 60% of the chance he's going to throw me an off-speed pitch, then I'm looking for an off-speed pitch.
Yes.
Now, in my day, if you got 2-0, you wouldn't think that way because the guy allowed to throw one through your ear.
Yeah.
You know, he said, here's your 2-0 pitch.
And then you look at different hitters, different type of hitters, you know, in different ways. So they're going to pitch, say, a guy that can run differently than they pitch a guy that swings the bat, just hits. So, for instance, like when I was playing here, I started learning. I'm like, wow, you know, they don't want me on base. So if the first pitch was a ball with a lot of the pitchers, and the control pitchers, then I know now I'm setting back on my back leg because it's a 90% chance, 90% chance. They don't want to go 2-0. So my confidence goes up. You know, and that's how I used to think. I mean, that's how we had to think because we had nobody teaching us the strike zone and showing us how to. And thank God for Whitey. He didn't mess with us. He let us play the game.
Gentlemen, we are out of time. This has been a great way to start the season, having you on, Willie McGee,
We appreciate it, man.
and we thank you
It's been
so
blessed,
much.
man. It's been fun.
You've been
By the way, before you get away, how's your wife and family? How
They're
they
doing
doing?
great, man. Everybody's doing good.
Okay, good.
Everybody's doing good.
How many
Yeah.
children now?
Oh, I got 4 daughters and I got 8 grandkids, seven grandkids.
Wait a minute,
And I
don't
got-
lose track of the grandkids, man.
I lose track. Hey,
Where do you get great grandkids? They're coming too.
I have to ask my daughter sometimes. Am I 58, 59? No, are you laughing? But I take pride in it now. That's just life, man.
We hope you enjoyed that. That was a great conversation that Willie McGee had in 2018 with Mike Shannon and Mike Claiborne as part of the Live at Shannon's. That just gives us the opportunity to remind you about Friday Night Live by Lowe's. After every Friday home game this year, Mike Claiborne, Ricky Horton, sometimes Chip Carey, sometimes Brad Thompson, sometimes voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney. You never know who's going to be in there, but they're going to be hosting that on Friday nights. Won't have one tomorrow night because there's no game scheduled tomorrow night, but once the schedule moves to where there's Friday night home games, we will indeed have Friday Night Live by Lowe's coming your way every Friday home game here across the Cardinals Radio Network. We are in a rain delay. The rain delay is presented by Safelite Auto Glass. Trust Safelite Auto Glass. Go online to safelite.com to schedule service. We are going to take a break, and we're going to come back. Just a quick update on the weather here. Let's see what things look like. Yeah, you know what? I am not a meteorologist. I don't try to claim to be one on the radio. I have a terrible track record when it comes to predicting things like this. But it really does look like the rain is going to settle down a bit here in about 25 minutes or so, maybe 10 to 4. There might be a little bit of rain after that from about 4:20 to 4:30, somewhere in there, and then things should clear out after that. Now, things do change. Systems move, they grow, they do all kinds of things. So take that with a grain of salt. But it's beginning to look kind of like there might be a window to start things after we get to about 4 o'clock or so. You would think that they would be able to do maybe the pregame festivities while they're working on the field at the same time, so you wouldn't have to have the field ready to go by the time they start the pregame parade and everything. The Clydesdales have already come through, but there's still a lot to do. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just looking at it and thinking that there might be a window here to get things going at some point in the relatively near future. We've got a lot more coming up for you, though. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more in just a moment on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
When you have a cracked windshield, who can you trust? Choose the auto glass experts at Safelite. We make it so easy, you can schedule at safelight.com. With our state-of-the-art technology, we can replace your windshield and recalibrate your car's advanced safety system to get you back on the road safely. Schedule now at safelight.com. Go ahead, play that jingle.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Enjoy a true St. Louis Cardinals baseball experience. Book your Grand Slam ticket package today at the luxurious Marriott St. Louis Grand, steps away from Busch Stadium. You'll get 2 Cardinals tickets plus free hotel self-parking, complimentary high-speed internet access, and $20 towards a great pregame or postgame meal at Zinnia Bar and Grill. Grand Slam ticket packages start at $199. Book yours today at MarriottStLouisGrand.com. That's MarriottStLouisGrand.com. Proud hotel partner of the St. Louis Cardinals.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle.
Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3, Wildcat!
Shelter Insurance ranked #1 for auto insurance in the Forbes 2024 World's Best Insurance Company survey. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Back at it at a rainy Busch Stadium. The good news is the rain is not coming down quite as hard. In fact, I'm not sure. Maybe it has kind of stopped here for a moment. I think if it has stopped for the moment, it's going to start here at some point. It's going to spit for a little while, but I think this rain is going to be out of here within the next hour, and probably less than that, more like a half hour or so. They may try to start doing some of these festivities. I don't know. That's just me talking. That's not the Cardinals talking. But just based off the radar, it certainly seems like there is a possibility of things getting going sooner than later. This rain delay, it is being presented by Safelite Auto Glass. Trust Safelite Auto Glass. Go online to safelight.com to schedule service. Well, during the baseball offseason, the baseball world lost an absolute treasure, someone with big ties to St. Louis. That is Bob Uecker, who spent most of his post-playing career working as a broadcaster with the Milwaukee Brewers. This is a bit of audio that we've played a fair amount of times here during rain delay just because of how good it is. But considering this is our first broadcast since Ueck's passing, it seemed appropriate to go back to this just amazing interview. And it's not even an interview, it's a conversation. That's what Live at Shannon's was all about, conversations, where Mike Shannon and Mike Claiborne sat down in 2018 with the great Bob Uecker.
It's great to have you here.
Hey, nice to be here, guys. I'm impressed with this after-game meal and show you have here, man. This is really nice.
You know, I wanted to thank you again publicly now. I know I've done it once, but for signing the tuba, you know.
Right away, I still have that picture.
Restaurant over in Illinois and
you know what? I found out a couple of years ago. Red Shandies came in the booth one day, and He said, "Did you ever know why you didn't play in the World Series?" And I said, "No." He said, "Johnny Keane told the coaching staff after you took that picture with that tuba, Johnny Keane told the coaching staff that you were not going to play in the World Series." I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "No, I'm telling you the true story about why." Because there were a couple games, I could have been in there, or even in street clothes. I didn't have to wear a uniform. But, yeah, he told me that Johnny Keane told the coaching staff I wasn't going to play. I didn't care anyway. We won. But we were talking earlier about that final day for the Cardinals in '64 when we're all up in the clubhouse yet, and Harry Carey is doing the broadcast and carrying it from Cincinnati, and we had already been beaten by the Mets twice. They beat Bob Gibson in the opening game 1-0. Alvin Jackson, little left-hander, beat him, and then the second game, I think they got like 5 or 6 in the first inning. And that last day, it could have ended up in a 3-way tie, but it didn't, and we ended up winning. But looking back at that year and looking at the guys that we had on that club at that time, I got traded here that spring from the Braves, and when I got here, and when you're brought up in an organization from the time you start, and then all of a sudden you're gone, you don't know anybody, you're out of your organization. It's kind of a rude awakening, but what a great awakening that was. To get over to St. Louis and win. Oh man,
Kurt
beautiful.
Simmons, Bobby Shantz.
Yep.
The list went on.
No, it was unbelievable.
Was that '63 when you came over, or '64?
No, I came in '64. Yeah. I remember walking in the clubhouse with Red, and Branch Rickey was the GM at that time. And Red said, "Come on, I'll take you into the clubhouse over in St. Petersburg to meet Branch Rickey." I go into his office with Red. This is a true story. And he says to me, "I wouldn't have traded one Gary Kolb for 100 Bob Ukers." That's what he said to me. That old grumpy twig. That's what he said.
How do you do?
I did. I said to him, "You're a grumpy old man." And I walked out, and Red said, "What did you say that for?" I said, "What did he say that for?" I didn't ask to come here. Yeah. It was a great thing for me, but that's what he told me. You remember Gary Kolb?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, when I went to spring training my first year, okay, there was 6 outfielders, okay. 5 of them went to the big leagues, and the only guy that didn't was a guy that he was 6'2", he weighed like 210 pounds, and I'd watch him play. He never was off stride or anything, and he just swing through pitches, and I couldn't understand why. And then one day I roomed with him, and we woke up in the middle of the night, and he had his glasses on the night table. They were right on the floor, and he was putting his hands looking for
really,
yeah. But so he just couldn't see. Nowadays they'd probably have contacts, and he'd.
Did he know he had a roommate?
I don't think so. But I'll never forget. And 5 of them, and that's almost unheard of. Them, have 6 outfielders, and 5 of them get to the big leagues.
Absolutely.
Gary Kolb was one of those guys.
Yeah, he was. I know Branch Rickey didn't want to trade him. He was a guy that Branch Rickey really liked. And the other guy, it was a 2-for-1. You had the other guy, Jimmy Schaefer.
It's catcher, yeah.
He was the other catcher. He was the other guy that came on the deal. It was 2-for-1, which the Cardinals got a hose job on that one. But that game.
Well, none of them can use a tuba like you, Bob.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Let's face it. With those
what's
great
really
hands.
funny about that whole thing was Roger Craig is the guy that told me to do that. That's how that happened. Do you remember we had 3 Dixieland bands on the field?
Yeah, I remember.
So the guys in left field, I was out there shagging.
Yeah.
And Roger said, "What would really be funny? Put that on. Go ahead and put it on." All right, it's batting practice. What's a big deal, right? Well, I put it on, and then I may as well try to catch a fly ball in it. And, the fans out there, everybody was having a good time, and I don't think I caught it. A couple hit the rim, and I think it cost me $260. Who was our general manager at that time?
Hausen.
Yeah. That's the guy.
Got some of my money,
That's
too,
the
man.
guy. Did he?
Yeah,
Man, I had to pay for that stupid tuba. And it was actually Roger Craig who You put it on. Go ahead. It'll be funny. Yeah, that was good.
Bob Ueck is here. Mike Shannon is here. And we're talking about some great times you guys had. And now, how long have you guys known each other? Did you know each other before you were teammates?
No, not really.
No.
So you guys were a real
back
treat for
then,
each other.
Oh, yeah,
back
we've
then.
been friends for.
Back then, though, you didn't talk to the opposition.
No.
No hug
That was a
fest in
fine.
center
And
field.
yeah, in fact, that they'd send the umpires out before the game, and if you were caught talking to the
Yep.
opposition, they would report you to the
Yeah. It was a
commissioner.
$50 fine. I remember that very well.
That was a lot of money for us.
You
back
weren't
then.
you weren't allowed to talk during BP batting practice. You weren't allowed to
Anytime.
talk to the other guys anytime.
In uniform. If you were
And
in
that-
uniform on the field.
Mike's right. The umpires would be out in the stands looking to see if you
Taking
guys
names.
were. Yeah. So yeah, that was
Different era.
forbidden.
So you come over to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and I want to make sure everybody understands, is everybody knows you as a guy who kept the clubhouse loose. You were a very good player. You had a great throwing arm, and that was
I
one of
could
the
do
things
that.
I could certainly
Hey,
remember.
Let me tell you a
You were a
story.
good catcher.
Let me tell you a story about throwing arm. I go probably 16 or 17, and I was pitching in Milwaukee at that time. And I get an invitation to go down and work out with the Braves. So I go down there. I'm, pretty well fired up. I had pitched a couple of good games, Sandlot games, one hitter, a couple of no-hitters that I had. I really did. So I go down there to work out with the Braves. So I'm down on the sidelines. Their pitching coach at that time was a guy named Johnny Cooney. And I'm throwing to the bullpen catcher, and I'm throwing for about 15 minutes. And I think I'm throwing pretty good, right? And he's standing alongside of me, and he said, all right, now let me see your good fastball. I'm thinking, I have been throwing my good fastball. He said to me, well, I recommend you get a job. That was a true story, honest to God.
Nice guy, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. So years later, after that, I joined the Army. I went and served 2 years. I come out, I'm signed by the Braves coming out of the service. I go to spring training, and that guy is still there, Johnny Cooney. So I tell him, I introduced myself. I said, do you remember me? I was a pitcher at one time. And I told him about the incident. He said, no, I don't remember you. No, not at all.
I say that to all
Not at all.
kids. Yeah, exactly.
But I remember I was really working, man, sweating, nervous. And I think I'm throwing pretty good. Let me see your good fastball. I said, like a punch in the mouth, you old, But back then, yeah, it was, that's the way it was. I mean, it was.
Now, you two guys have been blessed to be able to grow up and play in the town that you grew up in, broadcast in the town that you grew up in. How much fun has that been for both of you?
Yeah, it's been a ball for me because, when you're playing, it's a little different because you think that everybody in the stands is your next door neighbor and you know them, okay? So it's a little different there. But as a broadcaster, I didn't realize how important the broadcasting job was till about 7 or 8 and 9, 10 years ago when people would say to you, hey, really appreciate what you're doing and
it's true.
This and so forth. And I really started to take it serious up until then. I've just come in and enjoy it. I still do it. I just come in and enjoy it. But I realize what a tremendous obligation you have to honor the position.
Absolutely. I even as a player, I can remember people coming to my house and my kids and, somebody asking, does Bob Uecker live here? And my kids say, yeah, bring him in. But no. But doing baseball, I was fortunate to be able to do the broadcasting around Bud Selig's time. We've been great friends for a long time too, but he gave me the opportunity to go out and do the other stuff. All the other stuff I did when we did all those Miller Lite commercials years ago. Pabst Blue Ribbon was our sponsor, and he allowed me to go do that, which turned out to be a great time and a great
Down
series.
the front row.
But yeah, a great series, and then the Belvedere thing where I had to be gone for a couple weeks to do a couple shows. But he let me do that. I think if he wouldn't have let me do that, I would have left anyway. I would have left then. But to be able to work in your hometown and even coming back here to St. Louis. My family is from here. My wife's from here. Sister Barb Yarborough, who is our Uber driver tonight. Not Uber, Uber. No, but to come back here, to be able to come back to St. Louis and be around Mike and you guys. I mean, the statue they put up, I don't know why they have me batting left-handed, but that aggravated me for a while. And I got
You got
used to
over
it.
it?
Yeah, I got over it.
On a
It's no big
serious
deal.
note, you mentioned
Serious note? What are you doing here?
Bud Selig.
Yeah.
I think Bud Selig is go down as the greatest commissioner in the history of baseball.
I'm with you.
And maybe the greatest commissioner in all of sports.
I'm with you. Absolutely, Mike.
I've said that for a couple of years now, and I'm not anywhere close to him as you and know him as well as you. But what he did for the game at the particular time that he was there, I don't think anybody will ever have that
I'm with you.
opportunities like he had. And boy, did he ever do a job.
I think the parity with the union and the owners. That was a big thing, you know, where
well, the owner
finally
when he
got
came
along.
in, the owners wouldn't even talk to one another in many cases. And he was able to communicate with all of the owners. And I mean, you know, like Steinbrenner, I know I could hear him talking to Steinbrenner say, "Now, you know, don't worry about this little deal. I'm going to take this with the rest of the owners."
Right.
You know, and,
absolutely.
And he'd say, "Well, I don't really like that, Bud, but you know, if you think it's best for the game," and he would, where no one else could ever do that and talk to the other owners at the time.
And I think the other side of the coin with that, he was one of them. He was an owner. So,
but he was a big fan and a big players fan too.
He was cheap too. I worked for him for all those years. Man, cheapskate. To this day, you know.
I want to ask you. You mentioned Mr. Belvedere and all the other.
Wait a
things
minute!
you
I
did
thought
away.
he gave you that plane and you know that.
He did. It's one of those lighter than air things. Got a Briggs and Stratton engine on the back of it, and if it's windy, you're dead.
I want to ask you about Johnny Carson and that whole thing because for people who remember you as a player in the commercials, but what was that like? Because I mean, Johnny Carson was the king at that point.
I had such a great time with Johnny. I did like probably, they said 100. I don't think it was that many. I think maybe 85 shows that I did with him. But we got along really good. And after maybe 20 shows, I never used a script anymore, or he didn't either. We didn't have a script. We just
rolled it out.
We just rolled it. And the first show I ever did was in 1969. You remember Al Hurt, the trumpeter?
Oh yeah, the trumpet player from New Orleans.
He's the guy that I worked with, and he got me on the first Tonight Show. But after the first Tonight Show, I heard Johnny. We said goodnight, shook hands, and I heard Johnny say to Ed McMahon, "Did that guy really play baseball?" And Ed said, "I think so." So that was my first show, and that was before they moved to L.A. And I went back. They got me back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, I got another call, and I went up. And then I became kind of maybe 4 times a year, 5 times a year, I'd go do the show. But he treated me unbelievably well, unbelievably great. Yeah, he was always.
They say
really,
if he liked you, he'd do anything in the world for you.
It's true.
But if you're Joan Rivers, then that's a whole other subject.
I'll tell you what. I went out to Nebraska about 6-7 years ago. Johnny built a theater on the University of Nebraska for anybody who wanted to get involved in showbiz, camera work, whatever you wanted to do. So I went out there, and our owner, Mark Attanasio, went with me, and I made him come up on stage with me. It was a question and answer thing, and then they ran about 15 Tonight shows, and really good stuff, really funny stuff. And after we were all done, they did a great job. The football band was in there. I mean, it was really good. And Johnny's nephew, who was one of his writers, after the show, were talking, and he said, "Do you know why Johnny really liked you?" And I said, "Not really. We just got along." He said, "He liked you because you didn't give a darn." That's what he said, but you didn't give a darn, And that's pretty much what it was. I mean, I never got knocked off of the show. He made other people come back the next day, but I never got. And Doc Severinsen turned out to be a great friend. Oh, the whole band, they would come when we were playing over in Anaheim in the American League. The guys in the band would come up and sit in the booth. Those big booths they had over in Anaheim. Those guys would be jammed in there. I mean, it was. I would go from Anaheim, do the Tonight Show. They used to tape from 5:30 to 7. I'd go over there, do the show, and take a car back to Anaheim and do the game.
Do the game?
Yeah. So it was always easy and really good. Really, really nice.
But there's never been anyone close to Johnny Carson. I mean, he was just,
Not for me.
Well, no, I'm talking about anybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
not for me.
they're still trying to replace him. You can't replace him.
He was
ever.
unbelievably funny. You know, some of the days when he was
How about the guy
bombing?
when he threw the hatchet?
Oh,
Ed Ames, yeah.
Oh,
And Ed
With the
Ames started to
tomahawk,
go
yeah.
over and
Oh,
and
man.
Johnny just knew.
he didn't say a word. He didn't say a word.
There was like 20 seconds and everybody just laughed.
Oh,
you know?
man. He threw that hatchet and hit that guy right in the crotch. Yeah.
The way it stuck up.
Yeah, man. It was perfect.
That is Bob Uecker talking with both Mike Shannon and Mike Claiborne in 2018 at a Live at Shannon. So we've got some news. We've got some good news for you. This is fantastic to be able to share. We are playing baseball today. Cardinals are going to begin the pregame ceremonies at 4 o'clock, and the game is scheduled to begin at 4:45. So we are 1 hour away from starting the game. We're about 15 minutes out from the pregame festivities getting underway. The tarp is off the field. They're working very hard right now to get the field ready. So we'll come back. We'll do one more rain delay segment, our rain delay theater. It is, as always, being brought to you by Safelite Auto Glass. Trust Safelite Auto Glass. Go online to safelite.com to schedule service. We've got our final rain delay segment coming up in just a moment on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
When was the last time you visited the Gateway Arch? Rise to new heights on a tram ride to the top. Discover unforgettable stories of shared history in our free world-class museum. Marvel in the builder's experience as you watch our documentary movie. Peer into the past as you slip on a headset in our VR theater. Wander 5 miles of paved trails. Relax and learn about St. Louis history on a riverboat cruise. Book your tickets today at gatewayarch.com.
At Bayer, it is our goal to tackle the challenges of food insecurity by delivering innovation to farmers that help them grow healthy and affordable food in a sustainable way. That's why in communities across the U.S., Bayer has worked with farmers for decades to help put food on the table for those in need so that together we achieve health for all, hunger for none. Visit bayer.us.com. That's bayer.us.com to learn more.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. And with our easy-to-use app, you can check in from anywhere and get a ready next text when you're up next for a cut. It's the confidence of a great haircut delivered by a team you trust. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Back at it as we continue in our rain delay, but luckily this is going to be the final time you hear about a rain delay because we're going to have festivities going on in less than 15 minutes here at Busch Stadium. Our rain delay has been presented by Safelite Auto Glass. Trust Safelite Auto Glass. Go online to safelite.com to schedule service. But before we do head upstairs to John and Ricky, let's go ahead and listen into a little bit more of Bob Uecker talking with Mike Shannon and Mike Claiborne.
I remember mostly we'd fly into Pittsburgh, and you know that highway was always under construction. It's still under construction today, the same highway. And you'd be in the back of the bus. It'd be like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you got traded for it because
I remember
Housen was he was our general manager, and you were mimicking him. Huh?
I
I'll
did.
never forget that as long as I live.
He was on the bus.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
what made it so bad. I was doing him the way he talked. And
give us a little bit of Bob Housen.
Hi, Lou.
Well, I think that we should do something with Euchre. Why don't we kill him? So anyway, on the bus, I'm doing that, right? I don't know he's on the bus. So we get off the bus, and Red says,
yeah, he's the manager at the time.
He's the manager. He said, you, come here. He said, Hausum heard every word you said. I said, you're kidding. Where is he? He said he's sitting up in the front with a. I know, geez, man, that was going to be it for me, you know. So yeah, I was going. Me and Dick Rohn and Bill White went to Philadelphia for Art Mahaffey, Alex Johnson.
Yeah.
And there was one other guy involved.
They said, and we heard, okay.
I remember that.
They said that.
Now, if you get rid of
Euchre in the
Euchre,
deal, and they said we don't want Euchre.
Yeah, don't put him in there.
No Euchre, no trade.
Yeah. Why don't you send? Would you take Grote and Bill White, and if we ship Euchre to Fairbanks, how about that? Yeah, that was a long time ago. I always thought I don't know, you know. He's just a different guy. You know, after we had Bing Devine, who was so great.
Wonderful man.
Oh, boy. And then, I mean, Hausum was a nice guy. He just didn't like me. Then
you weren't alone. Yeah, he tried to send me out. I never will forget. I came to the ballpark, and Red said, hey, Hausum wants to see you. He's sending you back to AAA. I says, don't give my uniform away. I told Red I'll be back. I talked him out.
I remember.
I came back and said, Red, I'm still on your team.
When you come in the clubhouse and your sport coat's got a bunch of stamps on it, you know you're leaving.
How, you know, everybody knows you as a guy who kept the clubhouse loose. Where did you pick that up? Because some people can just naturally do it where you just show up looking to have a good time, but you have to be able to play the game, too. You just can't be a guy that's just a funny man and can't play. But where did you pick it up, and where did you know how to play that role with regard to helping out a ball club?
I think, and I did it when I was in school, which was not a good thing. It wasn't a good thing.
So were you in the principal's office a lot?
My dad was. He was in school more than I was. Matter of fact, he got better marks, and he was like 80 years old. But I don't know. You know, I think the one thing I really like to do is not laugh. To do shows when I was doing stand-up, to not laugh. I don't think there's anybody in the world can make me laugh if I don't want to. And to look at people.
Who has made you laugh?
Oh, I love laughing.
Okay.
I mean, comics. Rickles. Don Rickles.
Yeah, he was
a friend.
He was the best. Yeah.
I mean, I love Don Rickles. But I love comedy. I love to laugh. Bob Newhart. Guys like that. I mean, I've been around all those people for so many years. But if I'm working, when you're working, doing colleges, and when you come out on the stage, and the student body is in there, and they start laughing before you start talking, and then you just keep walking back and forth on the stage, looking at them like, "What are you laughing at? I haven't said anything." Or when you talk about, I know one story that makes women laugh. When I would start a routine about being born, I was born on a freeway, in Milwaukee. My mother and dad were on a oleomargarine run to Illinois because we couldn't get colored margarine in Wisconsin. And my mother was with child, and they pulled off into an exit area, and it was kind of a nativity setting, an exit light shining down, and I remember falling out and hitting the asphalt, and it hurt my shoulder, and I thought I would never be able to throw really good. And I remember my dad in the car hollering to my mother, "Mary, hurry up." And I remember she wrapped me in swaddling clothes. And there were three guys there, a truck driver, two truck drivers, and a baseball scout. And he told my mother he thought I had a chance to play. So when you talk like that and look at women who childbirth is tough, and you're telling them I fell out, I started falling out and I grabbed onto something. I pulled myself back in, and then I fell out. And when you don't laugh, you're telling this story, and you look at people like, what are you laughing at? I'm trying to tell you, how tough it was, when I was born. But
did you have a tough childhood?
I grew up in a hood area. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You bet. The thing that I can relate to, I'm older than Mike, and I can relate to the bad stuff that happened race-wise. I remember going to my first spring training in Georgia. I just came out of the Army. I never knew anything like that. I never saw black and white bubblers.
The great Bob Uecker speaking to Mike Claiborne and Mike Shannon. Again, one of the sad moments of the offseason when Uecker passed away after a long time in the game of baseball, and it's always fun to be able to hear that conversation. Well, good news for you. Baseball is going to be played, and the pregame festivities are going to take place. The field is being set up right now. I'm looking at it. They've got some things going on. We're going to send it back upstairs after this next break. The voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, along with Ricky Horton, they'll take you through all the pregame festivities, and then they will also have the call of the game. We'll hear from Mike Claiborne. Hopefully, Claibs is talking to somebody after the game. That means the Cardinals are winners here on opening day. It is the Cardinals and the Twins. Again, we can start focusing on baseball again after our rain delay. Sonny Gray, he is going to make the start today for the Cardinals. Pablo Lopez going for the Twins. Cardinals baseball on the way next on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
Rise to the occasion at One Cardinal Way, where luxury living meets legacy baseball in the heart of Ballpark Village. With limited homes remaining for the 2025 season, this is your chance to claim front row views of the St. Louis Skyline, Gateway Arch, Busch Stadium, and enjoy VIP access to Ballpark Village. Rooftop pool, private cabanas, grilling stations, and a fully staffed private bar. More than a home, it's next level living. Visit onecardinalway.com to schedule your tour before these exclusive homes are gone.
Vacationing is an art, and the Palm Beaches are your canvas. Stroll along sun-soaked beaches, unwind at boutique resorts, explore hidden and not so hidden gems. Here, you'll discover a lifestyle that's nothing short of a masterpiece. Curate your perfect collection of experiences and plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's time to put a red jacket on another Cardinals legend. Voting is now open for the 2025 Class of the Cardinals Hall of Fame, presented by Edward Jones. This celebrated annual tradition gives fans a voice in recognizing the organization's greatest players. This year's ballot features Steve Carlton, George Hendrick, Brian Jordan, and Edgar Renteria. Vote now through April 18th at cardinals.com/HOF.
This is Ozzie Smith, St. Louis Cardinals for the Loon.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium. We are getting close to our opening ceremony here. We've already had the Clydesdale today before the rain, and we certainly look forward, John Rooney, to this opening ceremony. It's going to be about a minute and a half away, but opening day, you know, we waited all winter and all spring for this. It's okay to wait a couple of hours longer.
I guess so. I just wish we could have the Clydesdales come back out again to open up things, but it was great to see the Clydesdales.
Sure was.
So majestic and such a part of the fabric of St. Louis and the tradition of Cardinals baseball for many, many years.
And how nice is it to have a sellout crowd here? Have so many folks dressed in red here expecting the season to start here with a bang. And, of course, Sonny Gray will make the start for the Cardinals, a 13-game winner last season up against Pablo Lopez. And we do thank Matt Pauley for doing the lion's share of our rain delay programming. That's a lot to talk about. But, of course, there's always a lot to talk about when the season starts, because you've got some new players, you've got high hopes, and this season is no different.
That's why it was good to have Matt down at spring training and Tom Ackerman down there. They work a lot of our pre- and post-game shows, and We'll have Joe Pott. And again, congratulations to SIUE for making the NCAA tournament. I know that was exciting for Joe, and he'll be with us on the pre and post over the weekend. But good to take part down to spring training and see what's going on there, and then to have Matt and Benji do such a great job of the game on Monday night from down in Memphis with the Redbirds and the St. Louis Cardinals down there in the exhibition game to wrap up spring training.
We are just about ready to send it to John Hewlett, the longtime PA announcer here at Busch Stadium. Had a nice visit. We all did with Ollie Marmol, the Cardinal manager. He's very positive, and he said his players are ready and raring to go. And John Hewlett's just about ready to go, too, as the fans are making their way back to the seats. We've had rain throughout the day, not too heavy except for a short period of time. But here we go with John Hewlett and our pregame ceremony.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium as we begin play in our 20th season here at Busch Stadium 3. Thank you for your patience today with the weather. It's a new season, a fresh start, and an opening day like no other opening day in all of sports. The Ford Motorcade of vehicles is a huge part of our opening day tradition. A special thank you to your quality Ford dealers for their ongoing support and for providing the latest 2025 Ford Mustang and F-Series lineup. This year, your quality Ford dealers are offering a chance to win a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Badlands SUV. Enter to win now at FordFanGiveaway.com. That's FordFanGiveaway.com for your shot at this incredible off-road SUV. And now, get ready to cheer on the team that's going to bring championship baseball back to St. Louis at Busch Stadium this season. Now circling the track, he's from the Lou, and he's proud, accompanied by the most energetic crew in the country. Please welcome Fred Bird and Team Fred Bird.
This my court, my field, my ring. Y'all gon' see who be the champion. Can't be stopped, I hit my shot, go in. Switch, you wish you could stop this, but you gon' miss. That's the way it ends up, that's the way we level up. Y'all should never mess with us, no way, no how. The game's right now, gotta go now. Gotta give it all you got to the 12th round. Get a scream from the crowd and they go loud. Let's go, let's get it up, let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up, let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up, let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up, let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Ready to rock, pounding the block. I got enough of me, I wanna stop. Who on the block for me, team on the clock? I got the heart and I'm taking a shot. Grinding, reminding, practice is while it's shining. Light of the squad is just blinding. Watch how we drop all these dimes in. Work, 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 work. Digging your feet in the dirt, dirt. All of this sweat in your shirt, work. This is the time it will hurt, work. Raise up, trays up. Remember the down on the days up. Who worked the hardest, we say it's us. This is the reason we raise cuts. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's get it up.
And today we're honored to welcome the 58th governor of the great state of Missouri. Please welcome Mike Kehoe. The governor is riding in a Ford vehicle as a guest of our partners at Ford and Anheuser-Busch.
Born on the banks of the Mississippi in 1882, the Cardinals are more than a baseball team. They are a connection between the past and the present. Just as the river has shaped the land, the Cardinals have shaped the city of St. Louis. Opening day isn't just the start of another baseball season. It's a tradition, a celebration of the team, the city, and the fans that make Cardinals baseball one of the greatest franchises in sports. For generations, we've gathered right here in Busch Stadium to witness the magic of opening day, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the sea of red filling the stands. This season, like every season before it, we take the field with one goal in mind: to make St. Louis proud while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Your energy, passion, and unwavering support fuel every pitch, every hit, and every win. The teams change, but your love for baseball remains. So let's do what St. Louis Cardinals fans do best. Let's rally together, cheer on the team with your friends, family, and coworkers, and let's get ready for another unforgettable season of Cardinals baseball in the Louvre.
They have brought St. Louis a new ballpark, a village, 12 Central Division titles, 4 National League championships, and 2 World Series championships. Since taking over in 1996, the team's current ownership group has engineered an unprecedented run of success both on and off the field. Please join us in saluting the man that has led this organization, Cardinals Chairman of the Board, Mr. Bill DeWitt Jr. And President of the Cardinals, Bill DeWitt III. Now please join me in welcoming back to St. Louis our Major League Baseball and St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Famers. This year's players and coaches are arriving in style with the all-new 2025 built Ford Tough F-150 Tremor off-road trucks. A special thanks to your quality Ford dealers for their ongoing support and for providing the latest 2025 Ford Mustang and F-Series lineup.
Ricky, how nice is it to see the Hall of Famers in the red jackets coming through the wagon gate and circling Busch Stadium right now?
No, it's terrific, and they represent a lot of decades of Cardinals excellence, a lot of winners, a lot of World Series appearances, and, of course, the individual accolades that they had, whether it's Jason Isringhausen and his saves, Ray Lankford, Vince Coleman. We're getting a look at all of them as they are on the runway or on the warning track right now in their cars, and the fans certainly appreciate all of the effort that they gave as players, and it's always great to have them back too. 13 of them, in fact, John, have decided to come back, and just so thankful. Several former teammates of mine. John Tudor is now waving to the crowd as his vehicle just entered the playing surface, and just a special time for them. They got to love it.
They're excited to be here.
Absolutely.
And they're friends of yours? And we're going to go back to John Hewlett on the field.
Nothing says for the Louvre more than a collection of the greatest players to ever wear the birds on the bat. These men are a great representation of the Cardinals and St. Louis. Today, we welcome 13 red jacket-wearing members of the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame. As these legends exit their Ford vehicles again this season, they will pass in front of 4 World Series trophies that represents the organization's accomplishment of 11 World Championships.
John, Tony La Russa is here. Joe Torre is here. And Of course, we think about the guys that are not here that have been so important to us over the years. Red Schoendienst, Whitey Herzog. I can't help but to think about Stan Musial and the great moments we've had here at the ballpark. We certainly want to remember them and honor them.
Leading us off today, he grew up a Cardinals fan from Brighton, Illinois. He owns the franchise record for saves and brought his hometown a world championship. Jason Isringhausen. He started his Cardinals career with 3 straight All-Star appearances from 2010 through 2011, plus another selection in 2015, a Silver Slugger Award in 2010, and a World Series championship in 2011. Matt Holliday. A catalyst for the 2004 team that won the National League pennant, an 8-time Gold Glover, 4-time All-Star, world champion, and one of the greatest defensive center fielders of all time, Jim Edmonds. He is the only player in Cardinals history with at least 200 home runs and 200 steals, and hit more home runs in Busch Stadium 2 than any player. Ray Lankford. This year is the 40th anniversary of that great 1985 team. Welcome back, the Rookie of the Year from that season, Vince Coleman. '21-game winner with 10 complete game shutouts in 1985. 2-time pennant winner, John Tudor. Our secret weapon on the field, and one of the greatest coaches and instructors off the field, Jose Oquendo. And now for our legends that are both Cardinals Hall of Famers and Major League Baseball Hall of Famers. The 1971 MVP playing for the Cardinals, Hall of Fame manager. Welcome back, Joe Torre. The all-time winningest manager for the Cardinals. 11 playoff appearances, including 2 World Series championships and 4 National League pennants. Please welcome Tony La Russa. A 6-time All-Star, and the all-time Cardinals leader in home runs and RBIs by a switch hitter. He lives here in St. Louis, Ted Simmons. A 7-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glover, and the cornerstone during his 6 seasons in St. Louis, a world champion and one of the best defensive third basemen of all time, Scott Rowland. He's a 15-time All-Star, winner of 13 Gold Gloves, first ballot Hall of Famer, and the greatest shortstop of all time, Ozzie Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, he was inducted last season. He is our newest Cardinals Hall of Famer. Here he is, Matt Morris. Wow, what a collection of Cardinals history in one location. And the men in red jackets represent the best in Cardinals baseball, both on and off the field. How about another round of applause for these great Hall of Famers.
In the air to left, well hit. Back is Craig. What a team. What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
Every opening day, we celebrate the greatness of the Cardinals organization. And there's no doubt the last 3 decades have been some of the most successful in our 100-plus year history. For that type of success, you need a visionary leader, an architect of excellence, and a trusted steward of the organization, responsible for overseeing and protecting the championship legacy of the Cardinals brand. It's with that type of leadership that the Cardinals have reached the postseason 10 times, including a franchise record 5 consecutive appearances from 2011 to 2015.
And the Cardinals can celebrate a Central Division title.
It's an era in Cardinals history that has brought us unforgettable moments.
The Cardinals are Central Division champions. Unbelievable.
Including the 2011 World Series championship, 2 pennants, and 6 Central Division titles. Unforgettable moments, iconic players, and 15 consecutive winning seasons.
The St. Louis Cardinals are headed to postseason play.
A remarkable feat for any professional franchise. In addition to winning championships, this era was also defined by identifying and developing exceptional talent, including future Hall of Famers like Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina. It fostered a farm system that earned Baseball America's Organization of the Year honors twice. Beyond the on-field success, there's a tremendous dedication to the culture and the values of the Cardinals way. The era of success fostered an environment that prizes integrity, innovation, and resilience. A legacy that continues to guide the organization.
On behalf of the entire Cardinals family, staff, and fans, on his final opening day, what will be a Hall of Fame career, please join us as we say thank you to John Mozeliak for his passion, his vision, and his commitment to the Cardinals way.
curves, got that freak flow, freak show. Welcome to the circus, let the leaders lead, preachers preach. Welcome to the service, close the curtains on them if they're acting like they never heard it. See, we do this for a purpose, just to keep that fire burning. And we don't need no water, let that mother burn. Timmy, play your trumpet, let the people.
And now it's time to welcome the 2025 St. Louis Cardinals. This year's players and coaches are arriving in style with the all-new 2025 built Ford Tough F-150 trucks and all-electric F-150 Lightnings.
Well, Ricky, as the 2025 Cardinals, beginning with Oliver Marmol and the coaching staff, come through the wagon gate in right field in the Ford trucks, let's talk about what Ollie was saying to us before the game today and his demeanor down in our pregame chat with him. This is as upbeat as I've seen Ollie in a couple of years.
Yeah, and, I was thinking about Ollie being upbeat. The coaches have been upbeat, and the players have been upbeat. Now, I don't know if it started with the players and that's rubbed back off on the coaches and Ollie or vice versa, or maybe there's just a synergy between the two. But Ollie absolutely is upbeat about this task ahead, and he is saying that the clubhouse is as energetic as he's seen it, and I think he's talking about the youth in that clubhouse. There's a lot of guys that can't wait to show what they can do, and there are various motives for that. Some of them are like, hey, don't forget about us and don't underestimate us. Maybe a little chip, maybe a little motivation that these young guys want to prove that, and they're not so young. Some of them are not so young, but they're inexperienced, but they're getting that chance finally. A guy like Luken Baker, a guy like Matthew Liberatore, they've been around, but they're going to get, as we've been hearing all winter, a longer runway.
And for a few, it's the first opening day roster, but for like Jordan Walker, it's his third opening day start in right field. And we're going to find out what the Cardinals have in Walker, and he's going to find out what he has in Jordan Walker with a chance to go out there with an extended playing time, just like Scott in center field.
And Nolan Gorman's going to get a lot of chances, too. He's not playing today, but he will. And, I think about this opening day moment, the feeling you get. I'll never forget my first one, 1984. I was standing next to Darryl Porter on the line when the players were being introduced, and he showed me that he had goosebumps on his arm. And he said, I've been doing this game for a long time, but opening day will always make me have these, and I hope the same is true for you, and it has been.
And those words of wisdom from Bob Forsch about the fans here in St. Louis.
The fans are
Ricky.
great. Bob loved the fans of St. Louis and couldn't wait to talk about them.
Manager Oliver Marmol. Bench coach Daniel Descalso. Assistant coach John Jay. Hitting coach Brant Brown. Assistant hitting coach Brandon Allen. First base coach Stubby Clapp. Third base coach Pop Warner. Game plan coach Patrick Elkins. In the bullpen, pitching coach Dusty Blake. Assistant pitching coaches Julio Rangel and Dean Kekeffer. Bullpen coach Jamie Pogue. Bullpen catcher Leininger Turan. And now the 2025 St. Louis Cardinals, beginning with number 12, Eric Fetty. Number 16, Nolan Gorman. Number 22, Michael Ciani. Number 26, Lucan Baker. Number 32, Steven Matz. Number 39, Miles Michaelis. Number 43, Pedro Pajes. Number 47, John King. Number 52, Matthew Liberator. Number 53, Andre Palante. Number 56, Ryan Helsley. Number 58, Chris Roycroft. Number 59, Jojo Romero. Number 62, Kyle Leahy. Number 64, Ryan Fernandez. Number 88, Phil Maton. And now your starters for today's game. Leading off, left fielder, number 21, Lars Nootbaar. Batting second. Batting second. Batting second, first baseman, number 40, Wilson Contreras. Batting third, playing second base, number 33, Brendan Donovan. Batting fourth, third baseman, number 28, Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth, designated hitter, number 41, Alec Burleson. Batting sixth, in the bullpen, catcher, number 48, Ivan Herrera. Hitting seventh, right fielder, number 18, Jordan Walker. Batting eighth, center fielder, number 11, Victor Scott II. Batting ninth, shortstop, number 0, Mason Wynn. And today's starting pitcher, warming up in the bullpen, number 54, Sonny Gray. And finally, please welcome, out of the home dugout, the Cardinals medical staff. Adam Olson, Chris Conroy, Jason Shutt, Keith Joint, Matt Leonard, Cyrus Portier. Performance staff members are Thomas Knox, Lance Thomason, Frank Witkowski, and Kevin McCullough. And our video and technology staff will also exit the dugout and enter the field. Thank you, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, your 20. Now let's meet today's opponent, the Minnesota Twins. Please welcome the trainers, clubhouse staff, reserves, and coaches as they make their way to the third base line. And now for today's starters, led by their manager, Rocco Baldelli. Leading off, right fielder, Matt Wallner. Batting second, shortstop, Carlos Correa. Batting third, center fielder, Byron Buxton. Batting fourth, the DH, Trevor Larnach. Batting fifth, catching, Ryan Jeffers. Batting sixth, first baseman, Ty France. Batting seventh, second baseman, Willie Castro. Batting eighth, third baseman, Jose Miranda. Batting ninth, left fielder, Harrison Bader. In the bullpen, starting today for the Twins, please welcome Pablo Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Minnesota Twins. Ladies and gentlemen, please remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem. Presenting today's colors from right field is the Fort Leonard Wood Joint Service Color Guard. Presenting the flag in center field, please welcome the 40 service members also from Fort Leonard Wood. Performing today's national anthem, he was born in East St. Louis and raised in Cahokia, talented artist and songwriter, and a Billboard Music and Grammy Award winner, Lloyd Nix.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reckless, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
That was Lloyd Nix with our national anthem, and the pageantry is all over the place here at Busch Stadium. It's a packed house, everybody wearing red as the Cardinals and the Twins both wait for the color guard to leave the field before going to their respective dugouts. One of my favorite things, John Rooney, about the introduction of the Hall of Famers and the Ford trucks that come out is to see the opposing team standing on the top step watching it. I love seeing it through their eyes as they come to learn about the especially their young players, to learn about the Cardinal organization. It's pretty special.
It's also very special for those players and the coaches and their manager, Rocco Baldelli, to experience the Cardinal fans, the applause the Twins got when they came out onto the field to welcome in a new season, the appreciation that Cardinal baseball fans have for this game and for the opponents is something that players and coaches and managers have talked about for years coming into this city to play.
And you won't find anybody in the major leagues, and most guys have played for several organizations by the time they're done, and everyone will say they're baseball fans first. I mean, you love the game, and so this is a celebration of the game. It's also a celebration of St. Louis. And the production crew here did such a nice job of putting that together. A couple of nice moments for me is to see Joe Torre and Tony La Russa having a hug behind home plate. I miss Lance Lynn coming and taking his hat off before shaking his hand with all of the Hall of Famers, the way he would show them respects. So I do miss that. But also the applause not only for the Twins, but specifically for Harrison Bader.
And what we have, and you talked about this being a game of connections. You talked about that this morning over at Kegs and Eggs on KMOX. And I was just thinking about the day I called Vin Scully to tell him of the passing of Red Schoendienst. And he gave me a couple of great stories, and they had a wonderful friendship. And I have a great picture of Red and Vin in this booth the last time Vin was here for a playoff game. But I asked Vin, do you miss the game? Do you miss what's going on at the park? Because he had been retired, and he said, "No, Johnny, I don't miss the games. I miss the people." And I know what he's talking about, because it's the people who, the Hall of Famers, the Red Jackets for the Cardinals Hall of Famers, the Cardinal Hall of Famers and Baseball Hall of Famers, Joe Torre and Tony La Russa exchanging that moment, and with Bill DeWitt III and Bill DeWitt Jr. taking a photo with Ozzie Smith as the group broke up behind home plate a moment ago. That's what this is all about. And all of the families and your friends who have come out here to enjoy what has become a holiday in St. Louis, opening day for the baseball season, to take in this wonderful event. Rain or no rain, it's still a great day.
It's still going to happen, and everybody's saying Happy New Year here at the ballpark. And we're going to send it to break here. We'll come back with the first pitch, but I'll leave it with one other thing that Red Schoendienst, you just mentioned him, used to say about the game of baseball and actually his life when he was asked, how do you stay so vibrant as you age? And he said, my secret of my life is to be around young people. And, well, guess what? The Cardinals are full of young players on their team, and I hope that energy permeates throughout Cardinals Nation. We'll be back with the first pitch after this.
When was the last time you visited the Gateway Arch? Rise to new heights on a tram ride to the top. Discover unforgettable stories of shared history in our free world-class museum. Marvel in the builder's experience as you watch our documentary movie. Peer into the past as you slip on a headset in our VR theater. Wander 5 miles of paved trails. Relax and learn about St. Louis history on a riverboat cruise. Book your tickets today at gatewayarch.com.
At Bayer, it is our goal to tackle the challenges of food insecurity by delivering innovation to farmers that help them grow healthy and affordable food in a sustainable way. That's why in communities across the U.S., Bayer has worked with farmers for decades to help put food on the table for those in need, so that together we achieve health for all, hunger for none. Visit Bayer.us.com. That's Bayer.us.com to learn more.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. At Great Clips, we save your haircut details in clip notes, so every member of the highly skilled team knows exactly how to create your signature look. And with our easy-to-use app, you can check in from anywhere and get a ready next text when you're up next for a cut. It's the confidence of a great haircut delivered by a team you trust. Download our app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium. Our umpires are at home plate currently, and they are exchanging the lineup cards. It's Rocco Baldelli, who's the manager of the Twins, very popular manager in Minnesota. And Ollie Marmol, 4th year managing the Cardinals, 38 years old. He's excited about his club, as John mentioned earlier, telling us early this morning, very early this morning, just how excited he was. I mean, I'm not sure I've ever seen Ollie so positive and so energetic about a club. And they are, again, exchanging the lineup cards. Let me tell you about the umpires. Laz Diaz is the crew chief. He will be behind the plate here for Game 1 of this 3-game series. There's an off day tomorrow, and then the Cardinals and the Twins will play again on Saturday and Sunday. Brian O'Nora is part of this crew. He'll be at first base with Mike Esterbrook at second, and Eric Backus will be at third base. And, of course, it's not spring training anymore, so they're not going to rotate anymore. They're done doing that, and we're done having number 97s and number 98s, although great to see the young players get a chance in spring training. But right now you've got 4 players on the Cardinals bench. As Matt Pauley's giving you the Cardinal lineup already, it'll be Nootbaar in left field. Victor Scott, the second, has earned the center field spot. He will be there with Jordan Walker in right, his 3rd straight opening day start. And he's not even 23 years old yet. Arenado and Wynn on the left side, Donovan Contreras on the right side, with Ivan Herrera doing the catching here for Game 1 and Sonny Gray on the mound. The Cardinals bench is Michael Ciani and Nolan Gorman from the left side, so you've got some speed and some pop from the left side, and you've got Pedro Pajes, very good defensive possibilities for him. He's the other Cardinal catcher, and Lucan Baker's got some pop from the right side.
I like the bench. I like the balance in the lineup. And now it's time to find out what many of these players can do. And I thought Chip was very interesting in asking us, what do we have here with this Cardinal team? And I think right now it's a mixed bag, a lot of emotions and a lot of buildup to what's coming into this season. Not all of it's positive, but that can turn in a hurry, as you found out back in the mid-'80s, Ricky.
Yeah, and that team in 1985, and several of those players were just on the field. In fact, Ozzie Smith threw out the ceremonial first pitch to Vince Coleman. Interesting to see Vince with his hat on backwards being the catcher for Ozzie. Fastest catcher ever, I would say.
I'd say so.
But that team was picked to come in last place in 1985. And what happened, John, in that year, and there were several guys that we were able to get in the offseason. 2 guys of great import were Jack Clark and John Tudor. And John Tudor on hand here today as part of the opening ceremonies. And yes, those were great deals, but they'd never had big-time years before. Jack was a solid outfielder and John was a solid pitcher, but they just went crazy in 1985. But all of the other guys just got better. Every player on that team had their best year that they'd had. Willie McGee hit 360. Terry Pendleton came on the scene, and Vince Coleman and Todd Worrell and Ken Daly. Everybody, Tom Herr. I mean, they all had kind of their best years at the same time. And so the word I said to Chip, because he asked us that together, what word do you say about this team? My word was hope. Because there's always hope. You never know. I'm not saying that's going to happen again.
But that's not a strategy.
But it's not a strategy. No, but you still, as I said that to John Mozeliak one time, he said, yeah, but you still got to have it. and I didn't disagree with him either. So there is hope. One of the hopes of this Cardinal team, specifically, when people have asked us, they asked us a lot in spring training, what's the strength of this team? The first thing I pointed to was the Cardinals' bullpen. I think that's going to be good again. Yeah, and the rotation will be good, but bullpen even better.
Now, this wasn't a trade. It wasn't a free agent signing this year, but he signed as a free agent, and I think he's going to have a big year at first base as Wilson Contreras. I am amazed at the improvement that I've seen with the footwork, the way he handles the throws in the dirt, the way he holds against runners who get on base and they take their leads, and helping the pitching staff in that regard. And to have his enthusiasm out there, I think that's going to turn out to be one of the biggest free agent signings before it's all said and done, just by making that move to play first base, and where he won't be all banged up and can have a huge year at the plate.
And I think it's affecting him in a lot of ways. I think it's going to affect how he is at the plate, especially. I mean, not only being healthy, as you mentioned, but I think the energy that he's bringing to the plate, he looks bigger, stronger, and guess what? Here come the Cardinals.
Here come your 2025
First out of the dugout for the Cardinals is the starter here this afternoon in Game 1, and he's done it a few times in his career. Well, so is the other guy on the other side, Pablo Lopez. Lopez has had a couple of opening day starts. In fact, the last 2 starts for Minnesota. He's 2-0. with a 0.73 ERA. Oddly, all three of his opening day starts have come against Missouri teams. He started against Kansas City twice, now against St. Louis. Sonny Gray on the other side has made 3 opening day starts in his career. He's 2-0 with a 0.50 ERA. So both these guys are veteran enough, savvy enough, smart enough to handle all the hoopla that comes with a opening day start, plus the rain delay, which I guess that's going to be about a little over an hour and a half, John, of rain delays. And I saw a note here earlier that we had 20 hours of rain delays last year, so we're getting a head start on that. That was kind of a big part of the season last year, all of the rain delays. And again, this game's starting a little bit late, but, it's worth it. Worth the wait, as Sonny Gray will deliver our first pitch here this afternoon on opening day. And it's sponsored by Rawlings, the official baseball of Major League Baseball. Sonny was 13-9 last year with the Cardinals, 3.84 ERA. And he got off to a great start. 17 scoreless innings to start the season. Now, he wasn't the opening day starter because he tweaked a hamstring towards the end of spring training and had to get a bit of a delay before he was ready to go. But he is ready to go today. Did not have a very good spring, honestly. I mean, we saw him spinning a lot of curveballs. The velocity was not quite there, and hopefully he'll reach into that bag of tricks and come up with it today. He'll be working with Ivan Herrera behind the plate, who had a good spring training with the bat. Several Cardinals did, several did not. Mason Wynn struggled with the bat in spring training, but we mentioned Contreras doing well. Lars Nootbaar, I thought, was good at getting on base this spring training, and that has moved him into the leadoff spot today. Ollie telling us that was kind of an easy choice based on Lars's ability to get on base in front of Contreras, Donovan, and Arenado. That's how we'll start out for the Cardinals, but it's going to be Wallner, Correa, and Buxton on the Twins side. Correa, Buxton, and Royce Lewis are their best 3 players. In the last 2 years, they've only played together and all been healthy for 39 games. That's a quarter of the season in the last 2 years, and Royce Lewis is out again. But Buxton and Correa are in the lineup, but it's Wallner to lead things off, and here is the voice of the Cardinals with today's first pitch, John Rooney.
All right, thank you very much, Ricky, and we're ready to get started. Baseball 2025 in downtown St. Louis. And here we go. The fans are ready for the first pitch by Sonny Gray. So is Matt Wallner, left-handed batting right fielder. A swing, and there's a ball headed toward right center field. Walker's on the move. He's tracking it. He makes the running catch. 1 pitch in, 1 out, and we're off and running in 2025. Carlos Correa, the former Houston Astro. Got a right foot injury, plantar fasciitis in the right foot last year after that problem in the left foot the year before. 4:53 for our first pitch, and it produced the first out of the ball game. The next pitch is a strike on the outside corner to Carlos Correa, 63 degrees.
Yeah, beautiful day. Correa, now that the wind and the rain are gone, but it really is comfortable right now. Still a little overcast, although the sun is peeking out. Correa was an all-star last year, but him getting hurt was a big problem for Minnesota.
And the pitch in for a strike. But you're right about having those 3 players you mentioned in the lineup only 39 times in 324 games. And Minnesota had such a slide at the end of last year to miss the playoffs. Here's the next pitch to Correa, just off the outside corner.
In mid-August, John, they had the 4th best record in baseball, but then Correa got hurt, and they just kind of fell apart, although the pitcher today, Pablo Lopez, was really good in that second half.
The 1-2 pitch. Correa swings and goes down on strikes. A 91-mile-an-hour sinker moving down and in tied him up, and Correa is out number 2.
Well, already the velocity looks a little better for Sonny Gray than what we saw.
So does the movement.
Yeah, the movement on top of that in spring training and that location. He tied him up right in on the fists.
Here's a really good player, 2022 All-Star, Byron Buxton. And keeping him healthy has been an issue for the Twins. And in their lineup, he's the center fielder with an abundance of talent. And he pops it up on the infield. Nolan Arenado comes down the line. In fair territory, he makes the catch about 20 feet away from the plate right next to the line. Buxton pops out. 1-2-3 go the Twins. The Cardinals are coming up on opening day in downtown St. Louis.
This is Ozzie Smith inviting you to join me for a conversation at Busch Stadium on Friday, April 11th, when we take on the Phillies. With Cardinals Conversations presented by Edward Jones, you'll get a ticket to the game, you'll join me for a pregame conversation with a Cardinals broadcaster, and receive a custom individually numbered and authenticated pre-signed photo. To top things off, join me for a photo with the 1982 World Series trophy. Come to the ballpark and join the conversation. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/conversation.
This is Cardinals broadcaster John Rooney. Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance is for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. They're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, they are here to put back the pieces. So if you have one car or 20, a home or an apartment, a business, a boat, or an entire family legacy to protect, if you're a Missourian, Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance is for you.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit VaxAssist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Lars Nootbaar takes a pitch outside from former Miami Marlin Pablo Lopez. Ricky told you Lopez is making his 3rd career opening day start. The sidestep kick and the pitch. A strike into Nootbaar with a fastball. A little cut to it at 95 miles an hour and good movement. Nootbaar for the spring went 11 for 41, and he walked 14 times. The left-handed batting outfielder swings and fouls a high fastball back to the screen. So it's Nootbaar, Contreras, and Donovan.
Lopez has picked up some velocity since we saw him in Miami. He was more low 90s. Last 2 pitches, as you mentioned, at 95. And he's one of the durable guys in baseball. He throws a lot of innings, and he's been a really good one. Opening day starter, again, 3 years in a row for Minnesota.
Here's a foul ball off to the right. He's the first Twin to start at least 3 in a row since Brad Radke started 7 straight from 1999 to 2005 on opening day. Nootbaar played 109 games with the Cardinals last year. He had a double, triple, a homer. He drove in 7 runs in spring training. Nootbaar checks his swing, and he takes an off-speed pitch, a change away after looking at the 95-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Nootbaar so good at working the count.
2-2. No score, bottom of the 1st inning. The third base line is wide open. The pitch. A swing and a line drive base hit to right field. Nootbaar is on to lead off 2025. And that's a byproduct of working the count, Ricky.
Yeah, you're going to get a better pitch to hit if you can get deeper in the count. He got a fastball up as Lopez tried to climb the ladder on him, and a lot of lefties don't like the ball up, but Newt jumped on that and lined it into right.
60-cent sippers are on the run the day after the Cardinals score 6 runs. Swing on by On the Run to grab your favorite drinks for only 60 cents all season long. We have your bases covered. It's at On the Run. Contreras takes inside a fastball for ball 1. Contreras has gone 1 for 7 and has been hit by a couple of pitches while going head-to-head against Pablo Lopez. Wilson got into 16 games in spring training, 15 out of 37, and he looks at a strike with a sweeper that nails the outside corner. 84 games for Wilson last year, and he had a couple of injuries that cut the games played down.
Last time we saw him, he had a home run 435 feet.
And a step